The collaboration conversation is brought to you by Project Brickworks, the new ministry dedicated to equipping Christians to use their talents and gifts to bring others into a relationship with King Jesus. We created the collaboration conversation as a way for our guests to share about their upcoming projects and how they are using their gifts and talents that God has given them. Today, we have a very special guest, special, near and dear to my heart, and that is Miss Jean Selig Wenger. Hi, Jean. How are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Jean is the founder, owner, agent at Treasure Coast Talent Agency in Los Angeles, which, she's my agent, which is why she's my favorite agent. And she's so wonderful. She's just run her company with such grace and integrity, putting the Lord first always. And so as soon as my mom was like, what kind of guests would you like to have? I was like, we have to have Jean. That was like one of the first names I rattled off. So we are so excited that you are taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I love what you guys are doing. I think this is just such a fantastic just project that you guys are taking on, and what a blessing it's going to be to so many people. So good job for just catching that vision and running with it.
Well, thank you for the encouragement. We feel very often like we have no idea what we're doing. But we heard a calling from the Lord, and we're just going with it. And
I love it.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. Okay, Jean, for people who don't know who you are, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am new to the LA area. I've been here, since July of 2019. So newbie to California. Came here before all the crazy lockdown stuff, but previously from Florida. I'm married. I've been married 30 years and have 4 amazing kids, 2 in Florida that we left behind, which was really hard with the move. They're grown, they're adults. And then the 2 younger ones that we brought with us. Met my husband in college, was an elementary school teacher, was a children's ministry director, had no plan ever of working in the TV film industry. And, God has a sense of humor. And here I am. That's a quick overview.
Oh, I love that. And I do want to ask you in a little bit about the move and God calling you to the TV and film industry. But first, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah. So it's nice to see you again. We've met once before.
Yes, nice to see you again, Diane.
But it was over Zoom.
It was. That's true.
That's right.
No. I think remember the first time that you and I actually officially met was at the
Christian Worldview.
Yep, the Christian Worldview Film Festival, and you were with me. It was during the Fat Chance premiere. So, yeah, so she was there, and so I'm pretty sure
we
you guys
might have met then.
Yes, but you weren't my representation yet, so that might be why.
I was scouting you out then, and I was like, I want this girl on my roster. She's amazing.
It's so funny because I didn't get that vibe. Not that I didn't get an opposite vibe. I just didn't get the vibe that like you were interested in signing anybody. And then I remember reaching out to you like literally a week after
and you were so nervous.
And I was so nervous. I was like, Mom, I don't do this well. I don't do the selling myself to an agency very well, which you have to do, when you're starting out. And I just remember emailing you, and when you emailed me back so quickly, I was like, Mom, she said yes. That's just funny. Anyway, so I think we have technically all met in person.
And when we Zoomed that one time, we discovered that your daughter and my mom attended the same high school.
That's crazy.
I know. That's cool.
Small world.
You moved to a place where we literally had left, and we're in the same area.
Oh yeah. I totally grew up in Southern California. So
crazy.
And I know that you guys got there right before the pandemic. How's this been for you guys? Are your kids, Zooming for school, or how's the last year been?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is the weekend we moved in, July 4th weekend, 2019, was when we had back-to-back earthquakes. So that was our welcome to California. We were like,
oh no.
Okay, the movie truck is still unloading. Do we want to just say load it back up? Let's head back to Florida. But we trusted that God had a plan for us here. And yeah, we had been, the kids had gotten started into school, started making friends, we're getting settled in. And then in March, I distinctly remember everything happening. Our oldest daughter had come out to surprise me for my birthday, which was really, really fun. We had an amazing birthday weekend. She flew back that Monday, I think it was like the 16th or whatever of March. And then literally the world shut down. Our kids have been home online schooling since then. So we have not gone back. And at my office, I've been home working, as well, because the agents allowed the SAG allowed the agents to, work from home during the pandemic as well. So we are all here every day.
Yeah.
But honestly, I see so many blessings coming out of it. So I really can't complain. We're thankful. Our kids had made some really good friends, and we, allow them to see like one or two friends just because they need that socialization. We're not doing any large group things or any, crazy stuff, but one-on-one, if everybody's feeling healthy and everybody's good, because they've made some really great friends here, and we don't want them to kind of lose that. But yeah, we're in lockdown mode here in LA.
It's totally different there.
Yeah. We've always been pretty well locked down. Yeah. And around the country, we've, been following all of our friends and family and all the actors on our team. And it's interesting to see every single state is different. But we've been pretty much locked down since March.
And we've been out to California twice this year during the pandemic, one for a funeral and then once to visit Grandpa Carter before he passed. And it was just stark contrast to what it's like in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's insane that, and we obviously have family out there who keeps us in the loop of them not going anywhere and, be on total lockdown. So I'm glad you guys are holding up. How are you staying sane with your family, inside the house?
It's actually been really nice. I mean, I'm just seeing all the benefits of having these quality, moments of conversation. And since I'm working from home and the kids are doing their schooling, like I'm getting able, to see them throughout the day. And normally it's my kids texting me or calling me to bring them food. And so we have these little moments where I'm, feeding my kids and interacting with them. And it's fun to have the noise and activity, at home where normally, I'd be at my office all day and they'd be in their school all day. And then they come home and be in their rooms doing homework. And so I'm really trying to value these bright moments of just extra time together.
That's great.
I'm thankful they're older. I will say that if they were littles, it would be so much harder because I don't know how I'd be able to do my job, but they're 13 and 17. So I'm counting my blessings that they're older during lockdown, during a pandemic.
Totally.
Well, speaking of your kids, one of the things I learned in your bio when you sent the information to us was that all 4 of them are adopted.
Yes.
It's about that journey. What an amazing story.
We are so blessed. I mean, there was a time where my husband and I thought we'd never be parents. And to me, I just had always felt called to be a mom. And it was funny because I had forgotten that when I was young, I had always told my mom, I'm going to adopt a bunch of kids. And so when we found out about our infertility and started exploring adoption, my mom's like, Jean, you always talked about adopting. And it was like God had been preparing my heart from the time I was a young girl. And so we were just very open and just trusted that God would, we were hoping to just be able to adopt one child. We just wanted to be parents. But we just trusted that God would, direct our paths. And we were blessed beyond, imagination. And we have 4 amazing kids. And it's girl, boy, girl, boy.
Love it.
And there's the 2 older ones, and then there was like a 9-year gap. And then the 2 younger ones are our Florida babies that, we thought our family was complete. And God said, no. We have a couple more surprises for you. So we're just truly blessed and just love and adore our kids.
Were they all individual or any of them siblings?
No, none of them are biological siblings. 4 different amazing birth mothers that we just love and adore. And just truly blessed knowing that we were chosen to be the parents to the children that they were carrying. So very much the pro-life issue is very near and dear to my heart because to me, it's not just an issue. It's the story of my children.
Amen.
And how they came to be a part of our family. So
totally.
Yeah, we're very, very thankful. Mother's Day is never about me. I always think about their amazing birth mothers and the gift of life that they gave us.
That's wonderful.
So I'm just, we're very blessed and thankful. And honestly, I look at my kids and I tell them all the time, I wouldn't have wanted any other children. You know what I mean? They're the children that were meant to be in our family. So we're very thankful.
Men.
Oh my gosh. I love that. First of all, I just love you. And you're so sweet. And
I love you too.
Oh, so, okay. So I want to talk to you about, we briefly mentioned moving from Florida to California.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that whole journey, has been crazy from going from what you're talking about doing teaching before to then becoming a manager first and then becoming an agent and moving and, having to then become an LA agent, which is in it of itself a whole process that you and I have recently gone through.
You were such a huge motivation. You were so good. I appreciate your encouragement so much. You're like, you can do this. You can do this, Jean. I'm like, I can't. I don't think I can do it.
Well, but now you have, and it's just it's not just a blessing to you and I that you did that, but to the whole team. You know what I mean? Like that was so impactful to a lot of people. And so I was really, really proud of you for stepping out in faith and being
oh my goodness
about that whole process. So before we get too far ahead, let's go back to the beginning, which talk to us about how you heard God's calling for this, for this in your life and kind of that transition. And we just kind of want to hear the whole story.
Yeah, definitely it has been a journey. And when I look back, I just see how God, definitely called me into this. And I definitely see it as a ministry, not just a job. It was not something I was seeking. And in fact, I questioned it quite often in the beginning going, am I hearing this right? But yeah, my son was a stage actor and wanting to explore getting into TV and film. And we kind of went down the first step of where he was discovered at the mall. And it wasn't until after we paid a bunch of money, we realized that was a scam. And I was like, okay, I need to get on board and really start vetting things out because he ended up with a nice little portfolio book that we spent hundreds of dollars on that we later realized we could do nothing with. But I started saying, okay, I need to vet things out. I think he was 17 at the time. So I just started looking on Facebook and then I helped him get a Backstage account and just started looking for opportunities and found out that the International Christian Film Festival was happening, which I had never even heard of it. I had never even been to a film festival, knew nothing about them, didn't even know there were Christian film festivals, and saw a post that somebody was looking for promotional models for their film to come dressed as World War II soldiers. So I submitted my son and he got booked. He fit, these were authentic uniforms, so he had to fit one of the uniforms perfectly. So he got booked for this job and he's like, will you go with me? Because I have no idea what I'm doing and I've never been to a film festival. And so I literally went just to kind of keep him company. His girlfriend at the time got booked to be a World War II nurse as well. So I went up there with them, completely having no clue what I was doing, just, along for the ride. And I think it was just by the end of the weekend, my heart was pounding because as I started meeting people, I had no goal in mind other than just to keep them company and just to help them out. God, literally my heart was pounding going, I hope you feel comfortable here because this is your new family. And I was like, what's going on? At the time, I was literally doing a preschool in my home. It was my 6th year of doing Miss Jean's Play School.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it was just a little home kind of ministry thing where I had a few children every week and I did a little preschool with them. And it was just an outreach in the community. And I had been doing that after also doing Mother's Morning Out at my church. So literally I was in a different world.
Totally.
And went away this weekend. And at the end of that time, there was a couple actors I met that said, hey, could you help us the way you're helping your son and his girlfriend? I was like, I don't know if I'm qualified to do that. I'm like, I did all the disclaimers. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just take one person. So I kind of started doing that. And I just felt like God was saying, you know what, just be available to more people and just let me do the work. And so I created I got a general business license as a talent manager. I created Treasure Coast Talent Facebook page, which is still in existence.
Yep.
And I literally put it out there and said, okay, God, this is all you. I'm not hunting anybody down. I'm not advertising. If you want me to do this, bring, it's like, if you build it, they will come. And literally I started getting actors reaching out from all over the country. And I was like, what in the world? And then every time I would give them a disclaimer about every reason I was not qualified for this job. Are you sure you want me to help you? I have no clue what I'm doing. And soon just God started giving me the confidence that he was calling me to something. And I just needed to continue to work hard and learn and grow. And he would direct my path. And here we are.
Amen.
He has really, really blessed your obedience. Like, it just seems like he's been calling and you've been going and you've been
Yeah.
and you've been moving.
And for me, it's just like, well, this last journey, the whole LA thing has been literally like the parting of the Red Sea. As you know, there were so many hurdles. How many times did I share prayer requests with you guys on the TCT private page going, okay, guys, I don't know if I can do this,
You
but
know how this is going to happen, how we can make this happen, but just pray about it.
This is how you need to pray. And literally each, hoop I would jump through, the powers that be would even say, I don't know how you got approved so fast. Like, this has never happened before. And I'm going, I know how.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. And so, okay. So you moved to California just over 2 years ago?
Just over a year ago.
Just over a year ago. That's right.
Almost a year and a half. Yeah.
So what was that? I mean, what was that like transitioning your family, telling your family, hey guys, I think we're moving to California. I mean, did God download that to you? What was
I had no desire. Yeah. I had no desire to move to California, no desire to be a part of the LA, world market. And my husband got called to a church out here. And when he told me where the church was, I'm like, no way. Are you kidding me? I just laughed. It was like Abraham and Sarah. I laughed. I was like, God, can you just stop doing this to me? Because every time I get comfortable going, okay, I'm fine. I'm now an agent in Florida, which was a huge step from being a manager. I now have like 75 people on my roster. Like, I'm good. And I'm working with, productions and actors across the country. I was working in my little home office. I was as happy as a clam. Mm-hmm. And God called my husband. I was like, okay, God, I know that somehow you're going to be doing this, working through this for Treasure Coast Talent as well. And yeah, but it was not something we were looking for. We had no desire to come here. We were perfectly happy in South Florida. But it's just, God opening a door in a huge way and confirming in multiple ways that this is where he was calling our family. So everybody always says to my husband, so you came out here and got a job because your wife? He's like, no. I got the job and she brought Treasure Coast Talent, with her. So it's kind of funny.
Well, tell us about your agency.
Treasure Coast Talent is ever changing and growing. The people who've been with me from day one, I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys. Just when we think like, this is what Treasure Coast Talent looks like, God just keeps, growing the vision. And so the people who've been with me from, on the whole ride, they've been with me since I was a manager, my first year of 15 people. And I truly feel called to support actors in the industry who are looking for something different, a different type of industry, a roster that is not only a roster that understands that they have boundaries and they have certain things that they are choosing not to do, but that they also want to be part of a team and they don't want to be a lone ranger in the industry, but they understand the value of partnering with other actors and partnering with others just in the industry for that support. So my team is unique in that way.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I can attest to this because I'm on the team. But, it's such a different world. So I signed with you after I had left California. So I moved.
That's right. We like cross.
I did the California thing. I had my representation out there. And then I got to sign with you. And I just have to tell you, it's just a totally different ball game. The fact that we have, a special group just where our actors can share our self-tapes and be encouraging, give positive feedback and critique. And then the fact that we all celebrate each other's wins. There's just, with any other agent, unless you look on IMDb, you have no idea who else is on who else is on the roster with you. You know what I'm saying? There's no sense of camaraderie. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of your team where you have built that. You have built this sense of
it's God. Hey,
totally. But you're also being obedient to the calling that he has given you to create that. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I just feel like the fact that it's never competitive. It's never competitive. You've got people who are posting the same self-tapes for the same roles and they're lifting each other up. Oh my gosh, what a great choice. I totally didn't see that in the script. I love that you did that. Or, whatever it is, you have just really, with God's help, cultivated this atmosphere, this creative atmosphere that really allows your actors to shine and grow and be a part of a team. And so I just want to commend you for that because it's absolutely happening and it's wonderful. And it's so great to be a part of. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, I've been agent hopping, as one might say, for a very long time. And I'm very happy and settled. And I'm like, yep,
Aw.
this feels great. So I just wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you. Well, I definitely, when I'm seeking out talents for my roster, there's a lot of different qualities that I'm looking for, obviously beyond just the acting ability.
Right.
But one of those things is, actors that are team players, because I don't want to have somebody come in and kind of throw off that great kind of rhythm that we have going there. And so it's been a blessing to see, because everybody is so like-minded, when they get on the team, it's like everybody just instantly clicks.
Yeah.
And so people say, what's your rhyme or reason to how you pick who's on your roster, or like, what's your business plan, business model? And I'm like, it's just discernment. It's just my heart. There's no great vision. I don't come from a business background. I don't understand that type of stuff. I just know my heart, and I just feel called to certain people. And it's so neat when I take a risk on someone, and just because I feel in my heart that they're a good match, and to see how God puts all the pieces of the puzzle together. And I'm just like, okay, I'm glad I listened to that small voice, and because I do have actors with all different levels of experience, and taking on a newer actor who's newer to the industry, that's very, very fresh, is a big risk for me. But it's paid off so many times. And you guys who are so much more experienced are so welcoming to them, which encourages and lifts them up. And it's just, it's wonderful.
I mean, we're just all making each other better, which is,
better together.
Totally better together. And that's exactly right. So I want to talk to you about the industry right now, because it just doesn't look like anything that, you know what I mean? Even before the pandemic, the quote unquote pilot season was even already on its way out. And I just think the pandemic just like really sealed that deal, and just like year round is going to be pilot season. You never know. But right now, I mean, in March, I guess, April, production's just literally halted. That was it. So talk to us about what you're seeing in the industry, where you have had to kind of shift gears or whatever to keep your actors busy. Just talk to us about your experience in the pandemic as an agent.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for our involvement in the faith-based film industry, because that literally has maintained throughout the pandemic, whereas the LA market for a while there shut down. The SAG project shut down. Even some originally planned SAG projects ended up deciding to go non-union so that they could, still do their projects. So we were working on several projects that kind of did that as well. Honestly, this has been my busiest year. This has been our best year for Treasure Coast Talent. And it just blows my mind. And once again, it's all God. We have been able to keep busy and working and auditioning. And so in the faith-based film market, we've been very, very blessed. And the LA market is actually starting to pick back up. The hard thing is every day things change. So just when I work on a project and I'm like, okay, these are the rules now. This is how it works. This is how early they have to come in and be tested and whatever. So next week it could all change. So it's like, you got to lock in this information, but it also is so fluid. So this past week we had 2 actors working on a SAG feature in LA. And just yesterday we had an actor working on a network TV show.
Wow.
Here. And there was a lot of, crazy strict protocol, but we made it through and they are working.
I know productions in Vancouver started.
And they're doing the 14-day.
Mandatory isolated quarantine before, anytime you enter or leave the country.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask, prior to about 5 years ago, did you ever think that someday you would be working TV and film?
Absolutely not. But I also look back and go, you know what? Back when my children were young, there's no way I could have done, you know what I mean? There's definitely a season for everything. When I had 4 young kids at home, there's no way I could have done what I do now and work the hours I work and be on call 24/7. And so God knew that. I had my hands full with, at one point, I had, a preschooler, an elementary schooler, a middle schooler, and a high schooler, going to 4 different schools and, trying to juggle all that. And even when I did that Miss Jean's Play School, it was a 9 to 12 program. So I was available in the morning to get my kids off to school. I was able to pick them up after school, do the after school snacks, the homework, all that, and be fully available for them in the evenings. And so, I truly believe that God knew it was not a good time for me to do it before that. And so it's pretty neat to know after kind of my kids were at that age where the timing would be more accessible, he started opening those doors.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned, at least from your bio, was that you love to travel, and you've traveled a lot. Can you tell us
Yes,
about the places?
I've been very blessed to travel, and that's one of the things I've missed the most this year. Even just missing out on going to the conferences and the movie premieres, which I did a lot last year. Actually, right after we moved here, I was kind of traveling like every month, which was crazy. But prior to that, growing up as a child, I was blessed to travel to a lot of different countries. So I've been all over Europe. I've been to the Middle East, Jordan, Israel, Egypt. Um, so I think I've been to 14 different countries. So having that perspective as a kid growing up and getting to experience different cultures, I think really helped mold and shape me. And social studies was always my favorite subject in school, but I don't think it was because of the books. It was because what I was reading about in the books, I had also been to those countries and seen it with my own eyes. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
So having those experiences, I'm just super, super blessed and thankful. Yeah.
Where was your very favorite place to visit so far?
Oh goodness. I think every place I visited was amazing, but I would probably say, my tour of the Holy Land, getting to walk where Jesus walked. I mean, I've never been able to read the Bible the same. The first time I went, I was in 9th grade, so I wouldn't say I fully got everything out of it. There was a bunch of teenagers in our tour group with us, and we all sat in the back of the bus, and we had a lot of fun. So I don't think I understood or appreciated it as much then as when I went later as an adult, and I actually took my teenage daughter, and I made sure I was in the back of the bus with her, pointing things out the window so she wouldn't have that same perspective I did. But just, getting to, walk where Jesus walked, see the Bible come to life while touring. It's just, that was probably one of the, and I still literally can still smell the smells of the old city of Jerusalem. Like sometimes if I'm in a market or whatever, and I smell spices or whatever, and it's like walking through the old city by the spice market, like literally I smell saffron somewhere and I'm like, oh, and so it's like so clear to me still, just even just the smells. But yeah, I would probably say that would be my favorite place. And you literally feel like you're going back in time.
Well, and you said that you really enjoyed the food in all of those different places. Has it affected your choices when you cook?
You know what? Probably not as much cooking. Literally, if I could take cooking classes, I would learn to cook Middle Eastern, Asian food, even though I've never been anywhere in Asia. I love international food. So we love taking out, or going prior to everything shutting down, going out to eat. But I probably still pretty well cook American. I do a lot of Mexican food, I guess, and Italian. But yeah, I'm pretty boring probably with my cooking, but we love to eat international foods, and so our kids have kind of been raised in enjoying and appreciating foods from all over the world as well.
That's awesome. So, post pandemic and when it's safe to do so, what are some of the countries on your bucket list that you're looking forward to traveling to next?
Goodness, I haven't traveled like out of the country probably, other than just like to the Bahamas and, going on cruises off of Florida. We've done that with our family, but like major trips, other than that trip to Israel with my daughter when she was a teenager, I haven't done any major out of the country trips, and we probably won't until our younger two are grown and gone. And then my husband and I will get back to doing some traveling again. But just, I'm looking forward to being able to travel back to the East Coast just to see family. I mean, it's not about the sites. It's just about reconnecting with family, because literally all of our family is on the East Coast, from Pennsylvania down to Florida. So our whole perspective of travel has changed. Now it's just about reconnecting with our loved ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Well, and maybe, hopefully when people are traveling for work and your actors are traveling, maybe sometimes you can go along and
yeah,
get to see the world that way.
Totally.
Well, let's transition a little bit. As you know, our podcast is about talents and gifts and folks using them for God's glory. But it's also about connecting and collaboration, and obviously you're doing that. But can you just, at some point in your life, you probably have thought through, what does this look like for me? What are my talents? What are my gifts? What are the things that bring me energy? Can you talk to that a little bit? What do you think your gifts and talents are?
Well, it's been interesting. I've been reflecting on this a lot, thinking about my past jobs and careers and the skill set that God was developing in me then to be used now. And it's been really interesting as a teacher. I was used to managing large groups of people, albeit kids.
Yep.
And naturally, God had shown me that I had a gift of leadership. And so definitely that was a skill that God has developed in me over the years. I've always loved connecting people like that. I would always be the one, would meet a new friend and I would be like, oh, you need to meet this friend because you guys would be great. In fact, I've been known to match up a couple couples who are now married. And in fact, when we were even going through our adoption process, there was a couple situations that we heard of that where we were able to match the child up with parents. And so I look back now and I'm like, wow, God was preparing me. I mean, he was showing me that was a gift I had that I hadn't even thought about. It's just something I did, when I felt inspired. And so definitely being a team leader, team builder, and then being a connector of people. I'm very relational. Those are all skills that God had been developing me all along. The business side of things is everything I've learned from the School of Hard Knocks. That was not my background, not my experience, not my gifting, but I've learned it. And I'm thankful that I already had some strengths coming into being an agent because those things have been all learned in the past few years. And I'm still learning every day, especially with COVID. Things change every day.
Totally. Well, and I want to point out that, that idea of being so relational, you just don't see that with agents. When you post something and you're like, hey guys, I talked to this production company and we're working on this great relationship and they love the TCT team. And like, that's just not something that you ever see with other agencies where they are like, I'm sure that they're building very professional, my team is going to show up. My client is going to show up for you. They're going to be prepared, but you are actually like cultivating relationships with these production companies. And I think that is so special. And I think that is definitely a way that you are using that talent and gift for the glory of God, is developing these relationships and then being able to connect your team with them and things like that. And so I just totally, literally see that in the day-to-day that you run Treasure Coast.
Thank you. Thank you. I do love, building those relationships. It's much more than just a business exchange for me. And I think building that trust, knowing that, if I pitch someone to them, that they can feel fully confident that that actor is going to come do their job and do it well, and they will want to work with that actor again. Because I've had directors and producers tell me, these open casting calls or these cold calls, we have no idea what we're getting beyond. They might act well, on tape, but we have no idea how they're going to be on set. Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to be prepared? Are they going to be kind and considerate to other people? And so there's a lot of wild card factors in there. And so I love that they trust, if I'm recommending, actors for my team, or if the actors are on my roster, that they can trust my word that those actors will go in and do the job and do it well. So I think it really is important to understand that the importance of having that good relationship.
Absolutely. So you touched on this earlier about what you're looking for in new talent. But I also know that you haven't stopped accepting new talent, but that it's become, you've really funneled that process.
Yes.
So I just wanted to, for anyone who's listening who might be interested in joining your team, what's the best time to reach out? What's the best method? What do they already need to have prepared? Or if they don't have that thing, they need to go get that before they approach you. From just a technical perspective, what can actors be doing to get on your radar?
Yeah. Well, as you said, I'm still trying to really keep the roster small and manageable, because it's so much about relationships, and I can only have those type of relationships with a certain number of people. So now that I'm in the LA market, that's the area I'm focusing on, building up my roster. But they do need to come to me already with strong packages, because I also don't have that time to give them all the feedback and help them develop everything that they need. So really coming ready set with a strong package, already SAG franchise SAG is really, really helpful to me. Unless they have a really, really unique special skill or have something to bring that's completely different than what I already have on my roster, that's kind of where I'm focusing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a tip to the actors, when you are submitting to agents like Miss Jean, you always want to go on IMDb and check out their roster and see what kinds of types of people she already has. Does she already have 5 of you? Does she have none of you? So just as a tip to actors who are out there looking for representation, that's always a good place to start, is to actually what's the word I'm looking for? Research. I was like, it starts with R. Research the agency or the company that you're wanting to go with. So anyway, I just wanted to have a little snippet out there for some up and coming actors. So speaking about up and coming, do you have any upcoming projects that you're really excited about working on, that your talent is working on, that you can talk about? I know sometimes that's a hush hush thing, but do you have anything that you'd like to share?
Well, like I said, we had a couple projects here that people are working on recently in LA that I can't talk about yet.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about Vindication.
Yes.
Which I know you and I have talked about. We're both huge fans of the show. They just started filming season 2, and they did episodes 1 through 5. And then in the spring, they're going to continue with 6 through 10. So we have a lot of people attached to that. And literally, when I see the sides, when I see the scripts, I'm like a fan. Like, I cannot wait to see season 2, even if none of our actors are attached. So I'm very excited about that. Washington's Armor is picking back up filming. That was one of the productions that was just, we had to reschedule so many times because of the COVID thing. So they're set to resume filming in January. So that's going to be exciting to see future episodes. But there's a lot of film projects that that you and I talked about on the page that you saw me post about, that we're in a lot of conversations with about productions who want to work with the TCT team. We're just trying to follow the whole COVID thing, because it's a risk for these productions to get their investors to sign their checks when they don't know, kind of what's going to happen with their ability to film in their current state based on everything. Oh, Pulled from Darkness is another one that we have quite a few people attached to. Really excited about that. Once again, that was one that was rescheduled multiple times from the summer to the fall and is now set for spring. Lots of exciting stuff to happen next year. We're just praying that they can all happen.
Yeah.
So that is just our prayer, that, once things are locked in on the schedule, that we can actually film them.
Absolutely.
And everybody stays healthy and safe, because that's obviously the most important.
Yeah, totally.
Well, so from the information that we've exchanged back and forth, we learned that you are a huge fan of the singing competition TV shows.
I do. I love them.
Awesome. I'm a big fan of The Voice.
Yeah.
Just the first round. Then after that, I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I just like to see when
you
they
like
turn around.
them hitting the button.
Yeah,
the
turn
suspense.
around.
Are they going to touch it or not?
Wait, tell us about that. And I think you have an interesting story.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny with The Voice. I love the introductory things with the button, and then I wait until the finals. I'm one of those people I skip over. And I'm like, I just want to find out who's in the top 10, and then I'll watch it again. So I'm like you. I don't kind of watch through the whole thing. But American Idol, our family, we were huge fans, like from the very beginning of season 1 with Kelly Clarkson. And I was literally faithfully watching it. All my friends back in Florida were faithfully watching it. And they had some contest one time. I don't know if they had it any other times, but you were supposed to be watching the show and listening for a certain phrase that Simon Cowell said. And then the next morning, our local TV station said, we're going to, at 8 a.m., have this contest, and first caller that gives the answer of what Simon said, wins this all expense paid trip for 2 to Hollywood to go to a live taping. And I called and I won. And the funny thing was, that night before when we were watching it, my daughter at the time, who was like 10, said, Mom, are you going to call? And I'm like, yeah, I'll call. And she's like, if you win, will you take me? And I was like, sure, I'll take you. So I had to be a mom of my word. My friends were so mad at me. They're like, how come you picked your 10-year-old daughter over us? Like, we're huge
Oh my
fans. And I'm like, there's no way I can. And it was really kind of cool because I ended up getting to surprise my daughter at her school by the news station coming to her school and calling her out of class. And they told her there as a part of like the news program. And so that's how she found out that I had won the contest, was that
so
the TV station actually came to her school and told her. So it was just an amazing trip. We got flown out. We got put up in a nice hotel. We got a limo. And I'm still friends with the limo driver. We like totally clicked. And yeah, and we've been Facebook friends for years. And she literally went above and beyond. Like, she got us into the backstage. She got us to meet everybody. And later she's like, I can't believe they let me just get you guys in there. I just acted like I knew what I was doing.
That's cool.
She was literally supposed to drop us off at the sidewalk, and we were supposed to go in like everybody else. But she pulled in, and we literally parked next to Paula Abdul's car and got out. And yeah, so we had the royal treatment and got to meet all of the stars. We got to meet all the the finalists. I think they were down to the top 10. We have a picture of my daughter with Carrie Underwood.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we got all the behind the scenes pictures. We met Simon Cowell, we met Randy Jackson, Paula Abdul. It was crazy. So we have these amazing photo albums of our time watching American Idol live. So I how can I not continue to be a fan,
My gosh, of course. That is awesome. So when they came back, when they canceled and then they came back, you were excited.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because they were changing judges throughout the years. I'm like, am I going to still like it? And there's a couple seasons that were a little bit rough, but I think they're doing really well now. And yeah, I'm still a fan of the show. I love that these talents would never probably have been discovered if not for these shows. So I still am waiting for an acting show to be created, a reality show that allows actors to be showcased in the same way that American Idol and The Voice has showcased the singers. So just know that's on my heart and mind. And if that ever happens, I would gladly be a judge.
There you go.
Or I want to be a coach instead of a judge. I don't like the judge thing, but I would want to be a coach. That would be fun to just encourage actors,
Yeah.
Well, in 5 years, we're going to come back and watch them because you will be the executive producer on a show just like that.
There you go.
That's a great idea.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That'd be funny. Yep. Who knows? Who knows how long I'll be an agent or how long I'll just, decide to, if at some point I feel called to kind of take on another track in this industry. I have no idea. I'm literally, it's every day. I just like, okay, God, today you're still calling me to do this. Tomorrow, I'm not set on, I have to be an agent forever. But yeah, it would be interesting to see where we are 5 years from now. I have no clue.
Totally. Well, go ahead. Nope. Jinx. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's amazing that you are using your talents and gifts to collaborate and bring people together. You formed your team and
you're cultivating their talents and gifts as well.
I love my team. I'm such a proud mama of my team. I'm like, literally, I'll have producers and directors say, you sound like you're talking about your children or your grandchildren. Like, you're so proud of them. I'm like, I picked them because I really like them and they're so talented and I believe in them. And yes, I'm proud of them. So yeah, I literally love my team. I'm so blessed. And there are people that I would choose as friends, even if I wasn't in this career. And that's, I think, so important. These are people I would choose to spend my free time with, even if I didn't work with them. So I think that's really important, at least for me.
No, totally. And I hope we'll be friends, even if you decide not to be an agent someday.
Forever. I have no plans of leaving, my current job, but it's just if God would open up other doors and confirm I was supposed to go a different direction.
Yeah. Well, and that's just a testament to your obedience. And throughout your whole story, I can see that you are just obedient to the calling. And I just want to commend you for that. That's really inspiring. And yeah, we're so grateful, first of all, that you're my agent,
yes,
but also
I'm thankful that I'm your agent as well. You are such a blessing to me and to the whole team.
Well, we're so grateful that you chatted with us today.
Yes.
And that you were, I know that whoever's listening and who is wrestling with whether to be obedient or not to the thing that they're being called to that they've never done before, I hope that they are inspired by your story. And so we're just so incredibly grateful that you shared your time with us.
Thank you, ladies. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. I just love what you guys are doing. And you are such a blessing to so many people as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not good at doing these hearts, but I'm trying. There you go.
You did it.
Well, thank you so much. For more information on Project Brickworks and how you can get involved, visit us online at projectbrickworks.org. Follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and turn on notifications. We love you. Be blessed. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yay. Yay, Project Brickworks. Keep up the great work. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.